Thanks, Jamie.
Perfect. Have fun with open houses.
Awesome.
When you're done, just please hit end on the Zoom, so it'll close it out.
You
Thank
got
you
it.
so much.
Awesome.
Thanks,
So
Stacy.
Thanks, guys.
thanks for coming and joining us both online and in person today. We were like, I wonder if anybody will come. Like,
Yeah.
so we did the open house one because this is really, I think, how we started growing our business. And
Introduce yourself.
something, yes, oh yeah, I guess we'll do that. So I'm Amanda Ryder and this is Nikki Castillo, and together we are AN Homes Colorado. And so we've been agents for around 3 years now. This is our first official full year as a team, but we really basically operated last year loosely as an unofficial team. Last year we did about $19 million worth of inventory. This year we're trying to do about $30 million worth of inventory, and that will be about 30 units. We're a little lopsided in our business. We are 3/4 listings to buyers, so we predominantly focus on listings. We do have buyer clients. We really enjoy listings, and frankly, in this market, it makes more money, and you don't have to compete. You have other people competing for your business. I moved here 6 years ago from the East Coast. Nikki is actually born and raised in Arvada. We both live in Candelas, which is in Northwest Arvada, where we do the vast majority of our business. And I'm very proud to say we had about 5% of the market share in our community last year. Anything else I should add at the beginning?
We're in the East Coast.
I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, went to school in West Virginia, worked in Washington, D.C. for about 13 years, and then moved out here and changed everything. Yes. Damn right, Penguins. Sorry, I will root for the Broncos, but I will never be able to root for the Avs. Sorry. It's just I'm a Penguins fan, that's all it is. Anything else I should add?
No.
Okay.
We're good.
All right.
Well, one thing is I think we started and grew our business from open houses. So that's why we're very passionate about this. I have an events background, so every open house we throw is an event. It's not just a come and check out the house. We make it an event. We serve cocktails. We weren't able to during COVID, but now we're back to an experience. From the moment you walk in the door, and so that's why our passion is open houses. And we, if at all possible, will always work our own open houses. We do have 2 going on this weekend, and so we're choosing our luxury property as opposed to our $400,000 property to market this weekend. But it's important to us, and that's how you get so much business.
So to that end, the goal of our time together today is to learn for you guys how to successfully incorporate using open houses and prospecting to help generate business, okay? So really, you're lead generating for buyers and sellers. For instance, we had an open house this past weekend. We got 3 very strong buyer and 3 very strong seller leads from it. When we first started working, I signed up for every open house that I could potentially work, just to find business, to get that experience. So what this slide is showing you, what do successful agents do every day? Your top thing has to be lead generation, because otherwise, without generating leads, then you don't have anybody to present a seller presentation to. You don't have anybody to preview real estate with, right? So yes, we do all of these things on the right-hand side to market, but you got to get the business first to be able to market it, right? All right, so when you hold open houses, do you hold open houses to sell the house or to pick up buyers and sellers?
Pick up buyers and sellers.
Honestly, I feel like open houses are more to the benefit of the agents than they actually are to the sellers themselves. Me personally, I've never had somebody walk in and go, hi, I'm a completely unrepresented buyer and I'd like for you to write an offer for me on this house right now. More often than not, it's, hey, I wanted to see this house. It's really cool looking, but I saw the house to sell and I don't really know anything. And so you're like, where are you at in this journey? And you're sort of capitalizing on those people coming in the door. Now, does it happen that people come in and absolutely just buy the house and you can help them?
I actually,
It
that's how I
happens.
bought a house in Dallas. We just moved there. We didn't know an agent, went to the open house. The agent was incredibly friendly and nice. And we're like, well, can you just represent both sides? And he did. So it can happen.
So yeah, so here it says, the goal of holding an open house is to not only sell the home, but to put yourself in the path of opportunity. You meet people, you're adding to your database, and you're setting appointments. So how many of you, I'm curious to know, how many of you have all hosted open houses?
Hosted or shadowed or both?
Cool.
Both, okay.
Guys online, have you shadowed or like?
Shadowed. Shadowed.
Shadowed, okay. And
Salvador?
So I've co-hosted about 3
Okay.
properties,
Okay, good.
and in majority I meet sellers coming in to see what services we provide for them.
awesome.
Were these all during COVID or post-COVID?
One was kind of during COVID, and the 2 other ones were after COVID.
And are you seeing a difference in how you're treating the open house as far as during COVID and now? Do you see like your procedures laxed a little bit as far as what you were doing before?
Well, I've seen more movement within the community since COVID has
Mhm.
ended. More people are showing up, more people are more open. It's not so much of a scare where people are kind of covering their faces, don't want to enter the same room as somebody else. I actually had a couple parties go check out the basement together and stuff like that, which I never had seen before. So that's a change. And I'm new to the real estate game, so that's from what I've seen.
Yeah. So the nice thing about open houses, and I wanted to point, it's showing you on this slide, that's not on there, but they're inexpensive, right? They don't have to be very expensive for you to make it memorable, and we'll show you kind of some of our little setups and tips and tricks we do. You can actually attract more people. I say it's more investment, financial investment, and a lot of times if you're able to invest that time in advance, you get another open house and then you so yeah, so it's a high rate of investment of return and good exposure, right? Especially if you're door knocking, if you're creating flyers that you're hosting the open house this weekend, leaving flyers and asking people to buy. You can potentially have a lender there with you. Now you guys all know we never work an open house alone, ever, 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 ever. There are too many scary stories out there. We don't want to be a statistic. There always has to be one other person. If it's your, open house and you don't really want to share leads, get a lender to come work it with you. That way people can have questions about lending and you're able to provide. You can even use that as a tactic at your open house, like on your thing, come and meet such and such lender and learn about, purchasing and refinancing or whatever, make it interesting to want to come. Again, you get qualified leads from a listing. Most of the people that are coming in are going to either be with an agent, be looking for an agent, may already be pre-qualified. And it's just a really easy way to meet potential buyers and sellers, right? So let's see. So your number one job, what I want you to walk away from the slide with is that open houses have great benefits. The more you put into it, the more you'll get out of it, frankly. Yeah, and if you've not hosted a lot of open houses, you can always ask for tips and tricks. You can always shadow. We learn something from people all the time. All right. Okay, so open houses are a prospecting activity meant to generate future business, not necessarily meant to sell the home, like I said, that you are holding open, although that would be a benefit as well. In this section, we will review the open house prospecting model.
Well done. You're probably the only one that's read the notes.
Right? So, okay. So there's 3 things that you need to do to prepare for an open house, right? You need to set up for the open house for success. You need to promote it and host it, because otherwise how are people going to know about it? And then you need to follow up and convert. Okay, so now I think we're going to talk about each of these in depth. Now, before I go any further, I have to tell you, if you do call anybody, you should really be checking that they're not on the do not call list. Unfortunately, a lot of us are on the do not call list and still get phone calls. That's one of the reasons I don't really like to personally do phone calls. I do prospecting other ways unless somebody has given me their phone number, which to me gives me permission to call them. We're not the people that use the dialer systems, or I've gotten lists of numbers from Margaret before. Very few of them are actual numbers to the people who are living in the house, especially now that we're in the day of cell phones. I still don't know, like we have a seller who we had to expire his listing because there was some information wrong on the listing, and we created another one. It says right at the top, do not contact this person. This person has an active listing over at, and here's the listing number. He started getting phone calls on his cell phone. How these agents are getting his cell phone number, which is a Mississippi cell phone number, I don't know. So I personally, unless you have the numbers of the people you're calling, I feel like, and you've been given permission, if you can text, if you can door knock, if you can email, that's my preferred method of communication until I know you and can pick up the phone or you've given me your number. All right, so now we're gonna talk about setting up the week. So for instance, so we're Tuesday right now, okay? We're having, Nikki and Whitney are hosting our open house on Saturday in Firestone on our new listing. So this kind of goes through a timeline of what can you be doing throughout the week to promote that listing. So here, they're saying promotion should really start about a week out. Sometimes you won't have that much time. So what I would encourage you to do is find what works well for you and what you start getting the best value from. And so if you only have a few days to promote your open house, that you're focusing on the best return on your time investment, right? Because really your main investment is going to be maybe having some flyers, copy, maybe run a Facebook ad, right? And then maybe some, treats and snacks. And we'll show you kind of, we have a little setup. So here it's just like saying, Monday, select your open house time and location, get a volunteer, best practices for selecting the neighborhood to hold an open house. I mean, look up the neighborhood. Like if you've never had a house in that neighborhood, do some, you can ask land title for information on that neighborhood. You can go to InfoStats on the MLS and pull that neighborhood and see sort of what's been going on there. Maybe you even call a couple of agents who you see have homes listed in that neighborhood and just ask them a little bit, hey, I'm going to be hosting an open house there this weekend. So you have a house under contract that went under contract a few weeks ago, wanted to know, what your experience was like. What was your open house traffic like? Or anywhere. I have a lot of agents that call us because we do a lot of business in our neighborhood. And I'm happy to share and be like, hey, we had slow traffic this weekend, or we're, pretty much over, or we only had multiple. Call and just see, because then you have that anecdotal evidence, so you can look like that expert in the community when people show up.
And also get to know the area. I mean, I know every weekend you're going to be probably in a different area, but spend a little time, pull up the sheet from the MLS about all the taxes and what schools they go to. How far are they from the school? Is there a bus route if you can find it? What kind of shopping is nearby? How long does it take to get to downtown? So these are different things, tidbits you can throw in when you're at the open house and you're talking to people. Say you're only 25 minutes from downtown, or we're 3 exits from the outlet malls up in Thornton, or whatever. But just to sound like you know what you're doing and sound like you know the area, even though you may not. And if you don't know the answer, say I don't know that answer, but let me get your name and I'll text it to you as soon as I get that information, and then you got their contact.
And you show them that you're able to follow up, right, and follow through, which a lot of agents aren't. So Tuesday here it says post online, generate a call list, and call 25 neighbors. Like I said, I'm not calling 25 neighbors, but I am posting online. I am creating an event. If you don't already have a Facebook business page for your business, create a Facebook business page and a Google My Business. So, if you Google A&N Homes Colorado, boom, it comes up with our picture and that we're here on Yukon and Old Town. We have reviews. I post our upcoming open houses and stuff there, post your open houses online. If there's a community group, so I need to look and see if there's a Firestone real estate group or a Firestone neighbors group, that I can say, hey, got a property coming this weekend and we have an open house. Advertise your open house in relevant places. Now don't spam people, right? But find the relevant places to share and post your open house. And again, it's, for me, instead of calling 25 neighbors Tuesday, Wednesday, that's when I would be doing, even Thursday, would be doing invitations on their door. So you're invited, open house Saturday. We have to get the language you said, what we put on the $1 Million House. It was like, come be Nebby, come get some design ideas, come find your new house, help us pick your neighbors. Like, be kitschy, be memorable. You know what I mean? Invite people to come. We're gonna have drinks, come by for a drink, you know. A lot of people are very nebby these days.
What is Nebby?
Nosy, nosy.
Oh, nosy.
Yeah, that's a Pittsburgh word for you. There you
Okay.
go. Pittsburgh word, nebby.
Nosy.
Nebby.
Nosy, yeah, they wanna see.
And I actually put that in the thing.
Yeah.
I'll say neighbor preview and open house. And so we want the neighbors to come check it out. Be nosy, check out, design state, see what they've done, see the updates and upgrades that they've made in their house. Or now's your chance to pick your neighbor.
Yeah.
And I create a cute little flyer, and where Margaret will go and actually door knock, and she loves to talk to every single person. I don't want anybody to knock on my door, so I'm not gonna knock on other people's door, but that's just who I am.
That's
So I will
what-
put a cute little invitation on every single door. They wanna come, and we always get neighbors that come from the invitations.
And people come and go, I'm just a neighbor. I always like to go, that's okay, we love neighbors.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'll utilize them too. What's your favorite thing about the neighborhood?
Mhm.
How's the neighborhood changed over time? Hey, Kathy. Because again, it's an easy way for you to start building a relationship with other people, because you never know who's gonna sell. And you're getting more information on the community.
Yeah.
Other things you can do, I mean,
Bring
make.
Bud Light to the neighbors.
Exactly,
Yes.
bring Bud Light to the
Yes.
neighbors.
Kidding.
Well, we always have,
We always serve.
we always have alcohol at our open houses. I mean, we usually have non-alcoholic beverages, and then we have alcoholic beverages too. And then depending on the open house and the level of the open house too, we're known to do like broker open Friday nights, where we still invite the neighbors, and we do like charcuterie boards and have, really nice, wine sangria and other little things like that. Again, it just depends on what you want to put
I
into
think I
it.
saw that on Facebook recently. Can you explain what broker open is?
So yes, and
Yeah.
we should have made that more clear because we have so many new agents. But what it is it's, if you're invited, or if they just put an open broker open, it's a chance for any and all brokers to come and check out that property. You may or may not have a client that might be interested, but it's always good to see how other agents run their business. It may be a price point that you're not used to working in, which this was a $1.1 million house. How often do all of us get to go in those houses? Not terribly often. So it's really good to go, how did they set it up? How are you greeted when you walk into our broker open? It's good to network, because down the line, you're going to come in contact with these agents over and over again.
Mhm.
And you want that friend on the other side of the deal,
Mhm.
because there's a lot of not great agents out there, and there's a lot of snotty ones. And if you can be friendly with most every agent out there, you're gonna get to the closing table, and they're gonna wanna work with you. And if you've got 2 deals coming in, or 2 offers that are very similar, and they know you, they're gonna persuade their client to take your offer, because I know you're gonna get to the table.
Mhm.
So broker opens it's a networking event. It's a place to check out, other homes, other neighborhoods that you might eventually be working in. And you may know somebody that may want a house like that, or maybe not now, but maybe down the line, and you can tell that buyer or whatever, I got to tour that house, and this is how that sets this one apart, or something. The more you can know about every single neighborhood, and for free, and have free food and drink, and the better.
And you can also go there, and one of our goals is always to have agents post about our open house, or post about our home, right? So again, it's also an opportunity for you to have like, oh, look, I'm showing this multi-million-dollar house, or I'm showing this beautiful house. You may not have a buyer for it. You might not be the listing agent for it, but you're still generating relevant content. for
And
yourself.
you're generating, people talk about what you post.
Mhm.
And you wanna change up your posts all the time. But, so we went to a broker open that was almost $3 million up in the mountains. They had a river that ran underneath the house. It was
Incredible.
glass, catwalk, river, glass. So I posted pictures of that. And people remember
That
that
house?
one post that I did. Wasn't my house, wasn't my listing, but they know I was doing real estate related stuff. And then and then always, if you're gonna take pictures at someone else's house, just ask
Just
them, say, do you mind if I promote your listing? Most of the time they're gonna
Most of the
say,
time.
yes, please, but don't promote it like it's your listing.
Right.
Just say I was at the so-and-so's listing courtesy of
Yeah.
A&N.
Blah, blah.
you know, whatever. But go ahead, sorry.
So, oh yeah, so other things you can do, I mean, so posting online, I mean, this says things like, invite your database. I mean, if you have people that are in that area, yeah, invite them. You're obviously not gonna invite your database people from Illinois, right? Unless they're planning on moving here. I love how it says return yard sign calls. I've gotten 2 yard sign calls in the entire 3 years I've been an agent. And email property-based internet leads. So for me, that is more about reverse prospecting. So I'm not sure if you guys have seen on the MLS yet. If you've not had your own listing, you can also get this from the listing agent. We're able to reverse prospect, as I say, if you want to pull that up. And you can actually send an email or a text message or call the agents who have buyers that your property you're working has shown up on their list. You don't know who the client is, but you know who the agent is. So we always, for all of our new listings, for our open houses, we create a very nice email to invite them, and we say, you know, hey, we'd love to have you and your clients come. If you can't make it with your clients, feel free to send them to our open house. Yesterday, because our house that went on this weekend's not under contract yet, even though we have a full price offer, that's a whole other story.
Okay.
So I texted all of the
Have you
agents that
guys
are on
seen
this
this
list.
page? And I'll,
We'll show it to you guys online in 1 second. So it shows who has hearted or light bulbed the listing that you're showing.
okay, so you would go under whatever listing that agent has.
Right.
And you'll click this little box.
I don't know if they're able to do it if it's not their listing.
I know, but
And then reverse
at least
prospect.
But when they
the
have-
agent can do this
The
for
agent
you
will do this for you.
and send you over the list. So then you just go reverse prospect, and all those hearts and light bulbs are ones that this property has gone to them and they're interested in.
Yeah.
So we go and invite all these people to the open house, because a lot of times agents are busy and they may have, you know, different things going on that weekend. They can't show their client property. So please go ahead and send them over the open house. Let them know that, you know, we sent this to you, or we talked to you about it beforehand. But just know that this is out here, and you might say to whoever the listing agent is when you're gonna host an open house,
Can
I get the reverse
prospect
prospect list from you so I can invite them to the open house if you have not already done so.
Other things you can do, I mean, you always want to put, if you want to ask the agent to, are they putting a rider out that says open house Saturday 12 to 2? Like, our listing's not on the market, it'll go live tomorrow and then showings start Thursday. But the rider's already on it a week in advance saying, you know, or it was on Monday saying open house Saturday 12 to 2, right? And it's one of the only houses for sale that weekend. It's going to be a busy open house, right? Here on Friday, it says, you know, post online. Again, post online, you know, switch it up so it's not the same post all the time, right? And then it says prepare market stats and comps. Again, make sure that you have the material to be the expert, right, at that open house, and print open house flyers. I would actually have those open house flyers printed in advance because you're using them, or an invitation to invite people that weekend. But agents will, even if it's not your listing, we will let you go ahead and create a flyer and put your picture and contact information on it for the open house. You always want to make sure you note that the listing is courtesy of whatever agent or team that you're using it from. But if you're working the open house, work the open house and use it as your opportunity to lead gen, because it's out there. Some weeks are slow, some weeks are crazy. It's highs and lows, but if you are consistent and you work on perfecting your open house scripts and your follow-up and your marketing, you will get business from doing those activities. Absolutely.
But there are open houses where you will sit there and nobody will come. It has happened more pre-COVID and that kind of thing, but if you advertise it, usually, you know, they'll come.
Yeah. So I'm just going to stop and see, like, sort of what questions you might have thus far. I love to just talk in circles because it's saying, have them write down suggestions. Blah, blah, blah. So is there anything else you would add? Is there anything that you found that really works for you? Is there anything sort of different that you've seen other people do? And folks online, please feel free to chime in. We'd love to hear from you too. We know you're there.
We're just talking about preparing still, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, a lot of people don't pick up the phone and call pull up that subdivision in the MLS, and if you don't know how to do that, we can show you how to do that. And then you can add a line that shows listing agent, and then I like to sort by listing agent. And that tells you whether or not it's just all one-off agents doing the business in that community. Is there somebody that has market share? And I think that's probably why people call us, is because if you look at Candelas and you look at his sold most to Candelas, there's only 2 of us that have market share in that neighborhood. And smart agents call. Tell me, I'm getting ready to list a house, or I'm having an open house. What can you tell me about your traffic? What can you tell me about the neighborhood? Not all agents are gonna be as nice probably as I am and helpful, but any little bit that you can get, again, makes you prepared for the event. Explain that a large part of preparation, here's the next slide. A large part of preparation should be considering the location and time of your open house activity. Over 50% of people who stop at an open house do so by impulse. So true. Location matters in this respect. Are you positioning your event in the path of traffic? Also, what time are you hosting it? If it's near a school, are you hosting it near the school when the school gets out? If it's by shop, so think about, you know, where and when you're hosting this open house. So most of them are going to be right. I mean, at least that we've done are in neighborhoods, right? I have found that more like 12 to 2 early afternoon is busier than, like, think about like churches on Sunday mornings, or people want to sleep in. I'm not an early bird, so I don't expect other people to be. Again, you might want to ask other agents, you know, how was your traffic this last weekend? What, you know, what time frame did you do an open house? You know, because it ebbs and flows. And again, promoting it in advance, and then good signage, which I'm sure we'll talk about signage here at some point. Having good signage is important. So directing people there and making sure that it's online and syndicating the things like Zillow, because unfortunately a lot of people are finding your open house on Zillow.
And now that we're getting closer to the fall, pay attention to football schedules when you're going to have your open house and when the Bronco game is. As soon as that game starts, you are dead. So kind of plan it around.
Yeah, so just be cognizant of what else is going on. Again, somebody had told us don't put a house on the market on Super Bowl weekend. We put a house on the market Super Bowl weekend. That was February 2020, and we had 200 people through that weekend. I mean, so I mean, I will tell you, this past weekend after July 4th, mental note, we'll never put a house on the market that weekend again. It was very slow this last weekend, and I truly believe that it's because a lot of people were on vacation for all of 4th of July week. So we have a full price offer in hand that our clients are not happy with, because it's full price and not over.
Because they keep hearing, oh, everybody gets multiple offers. Well, now things are slowing down a little bit. So we're going to do another open house on Saturday.
Probably get some more leads for us. It's not going to sell the house, to be honest.
Usually at 850, you don't come in unrepresented. At 400, you're going to get a lot of unrepresented people.
Yeah.
850, not normal.
Not so much. All right. So I truly cannot teach you door knocking, because I don't like doing it. Everybody's going to have a different perspective. Most people have no soliciting signs anymore. Don't door knock. Don't door knock if it has a no soliciting sign. Don't be that person. I do feel that it's okay to leave them an invitation. You're inviting them to something, you're offering some sort of value. But I have a no soliciting sign on my door. People solicit me all the time. I immediately put them in my blackball list, because I'm like, you from the start didn't respect the boundary that I had placed. I don't personally believe in crossing that boundary on solicitations. If you want to door knock and you're brave enough to door knock, more power to you. Bring somebody with you. Do not do it alone. I also wouldn't go inside somebody's house alone. I don't even know if I would go inside somebody's house that I don't know, even with somebody else. So just be cognizant of your own safety. No sale is worth your safety, right?
You can have old people. Old
people
love
to talk to you.
Come in. And,
you know, or
What do you say?
I have gone, but they're going to sell their house to us as well.
Yeah,
But
I usually don't.
most old people, they don't have that boundary, and they
Right.
just want people, and they want to show you their house, and
And they're
so,
lonely.
you know, each instance is a case by case, but
There's some good script stuff
Yeah.
for this, that if you feel compelled to door knock and that's what you're gonna build your business on, more power to you. I'm that person where I'm not building my business on door knocking or calling expireds. They're two things that I don't personally like. I don't see, they're not my brand. They're not what I want to do. But the beautiful thing about real estate is you make your business what you want of it. And there's a lot of people who are very successful doing expireds and door knocking and things like that. It's just very much outside of my comfort zone. And it's, as Margaret has told me, it's my own prejudice that I'm placing on it because I don't like being bothered at my house. So I'm saying in my mind, other people don't want me to bother them. Some people are perfectly fine with you knocking on the door. If you want to introduce yourself, I'm having a open house on Saturday, even if you, oh, we're not interested. Well, could you tell me what you love about the neighborhood? Use it as an opportunity again to pick up something.
And if you do see anybody, any of the neighbors outside, just say, hi, I just wanted to say hi. My name is Nikki. I'm gonna be hosting the open house down the street this weekend. If you know anybody that wants to move to the neighborhood, please tell them to come see us. Yeah, that's it. You know, just come from contribution and don't make it a sales pitch to them, but it's an opportunity for them to pick their neighbor.
Hey, come pick your neighbor. Do you guys know anybody that want to move here? A lot of people know people who want to move to their neighborhood, right? I just like to leave them an invitation and run away. That is just me though. But when they come to the open house, that's when we pounce on them and that's when we shine because we are back on sort of our turf, right? And I don't feel like I'm putting them out. They're coming in and feeling a little more like, oh, maybe uncomfortable. Welcome people, be welcoming and try to read people and meet them where they're at. If they're very meek and mild, try not to be like, you know, but if they're super outgoing and fun, play off of that, you know, get people want to work with people they like and that they connect with. So work on making that connection. All right, this next one is about creating social media campaigns. Has anybody created a social media campaign through Command?
You don't want to do script or?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't want to do script for door knocking.
Okay.
No.
You asked the wrong person, Nikki.
Well, I don't either. So
She doesn't either. No, I would rather practice scripts with you on how you talk to people once they come to the open house.
Yes.
Because that is where the real value is at.
Are we gonna get to that?
Yes.
Okay.
We
This is mine.
are. That is yours. So I don't know how much I want to go into this just because I think that this is one of those pieces that you really need to like functionally play with to see how to do it. So in Command along the side, there's something that's like a little bullhorn and it's campaigns. And so you can go here and you can do things like attract listings, promote your campaign.
Stacey was just showing us.
Yes, good. So we either create, depending on where we're getting our designs from, either through Command Designs or Nikki does a lot of our stuff through Canva. She's more of our creative arm. And then I'll take it and I'll upload it to Command and I will pick sort of the campaigning I want to do with it. So the cool thing about Command, and I will say, learn to use it, you get a better price on Facebook ads. It automatically shops it out to Facebook for you or Instagram or Google, and it automatically feeds those leads right into your Command database. Now, whether or not, I think paying for Facebook ads, it gets you more visibility. I have not had it bring me a legitimate lead, just to be honest. I mean, I had like 18 leads on one property, calling and emailing all of them. Not one person was the person that said was a lead. It was either you have the wrong phone number, you have the wrong email. There was never actually somebody I got attached to it. Now, did more people see the ad in their feed and see our name because we paid for that placement? Yes. Was it worth the 25 or 30 bucks? Yeah. Yeah, just to make sure, because you can also with this, you can select either the cities that you want, or like for us, I usually pick where we're at in Arvada and go 30 miles out. You know, or you can pick other places. If you want to advertise in, I don't know, the Bay Area, go advertise in the Bay Area, you know, but what's nice is that it's fully integrated into Command and comes back to you versus you running it out of the Facebook, what would you call it? The Facebook dashboard.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you haven't fooled around with this yet, go there, make something in Designs, upload it. You don't have to pull the trigger on anything, but set one up just to see what it would be like to set one up and then hit cancel at the end, right? You know, just for, I say for shits and giggles, right? But at least then whenever you're really ready to do it, you're like, oh, I did that before. I know what I'm talking about.
Right.
So look at that, because again, that's the benefit of being a Keller Williams agent. Nobody else has that integration with that is my understanding with Facebook into their database. Everybody else is taking data from over here and putting it in their CRM tool, whereas our CRM tool is doing it automatically for us.
Just to add on, I think it was Matt, I'm sorry, I'm getting classes are mixing
That's all
together,
right.
but last week a really great tip was, where are people moving to the Denver metro area from? And you can
Yes.
find those lists and.
Yep.
Yeah.
So anecdotally, our information would be, we're getting people from California, Illinois, Texas, Arizona. We have a couple, we're getting people from New York, and some from North Carolina. A lot of our sellers are moving to Texas, North Carolina, and Arizona. But we have a lot of people coming in from California. So the more expensive markets, or even like where I'm from, Washington DC area, more expensive markets coming in. Yes, this market feels expensive now, but compared to some of the other markets that are out there, it's still highly affordable, in my opinion. Because my first home was a condo that was like almost $400,000, and that was literally buying an apartment. In Northern Virginia area, townhomes are a minimum of $650,000 to $700,000. So when I moved here and I was like, wow, that was also 6 years ago. All right. So now let's talk about actually hosting the open house and getting leads. So I'll read you a little bit of this and then we'll talk about how we really like to do it. So greet everyone that walks through the door. I've been to open houses where you walk in and people are like, whatever. Be nice to everybody. Again, in Colorado, we're all very casual, but you never know who somebody really is or what their price point really is. Have your guests sign in. So this was a lot easier during COVID, but we do still ask guests to sign in, because here's the thing. Sellers have the right to know who's in their house, right? And if something goes awry or earrings go missing, and guess it'd be really nice for you to have who was in the house at that time. Take advantage of one-on-one time. How can you get to know people and build that rapport, especially if it's been slow? Pour yourself into the person that's there. They're not gonna hurt. Get to know your guests. And so they use the Ford method. So ask them about family, occupation, what's your recreation, what's your dreams. Probing questions. So I'm gonna actually skip their probing questions, because here's their probing questions. Are they interested in the property, and what other properties interest them? That is not what I lead with. I lead with, how'd you find us today? Does anybody know what that tells you?
If they're,
Yes, they have an agent, because they'll say, my agent told me to come by, or my agent sent this to me. Most of them will say,
I found you on Zillow.
I found you on Zillow. Oh, and then I like to ask, so how long have you been looking? Because then you know, are they brand new? Are they like the perpetual looky-loos that have been, I mean, because I've had people have been like 2 years, and I'm like, yeah,
I don't want you.
no, that's a time-sucking investment. I am not going down that road, you know. And then you're kind of like, oh, okay, well, what's been the impediment? So ask them, you know, well, what are you looking for? What's important to you in a house, right? You're getting to know them. You're asking about their, you know, their dreams, their hopes. You're connecting with them, right? So you're building the rapport. So then you're qualifying leads by asking them these probing questions and seeing what they're willing to give you. Some people won't give you anything. Some people will tell you their whole life story. You'll be like friends before they leave, and they're like, you kind of have to do your own gauging of how you can figure that out. So how'd you find us? How long have you been looking? You know, why do you think you haven't found what you're looking for yet? And they might just say, we're overpriced out of everything. Or we're not working with a great lender. Well, or if they're really tight, tell them about, you know, well, the advantages of working with a Keller agent, because we have Keller mortgage and Keller covers and Keller offers, and, you know, assess kind of where they're at and meet them there. Like we met people this weekend who they would like to upgrade. And so they kind of told us what street they lived on. I said, oh, so you're in a Century home, you must have bought back and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I said, well, you're actually one of the people with the most equity in the community. So what are you looking for? And where are you at in the process? They haven't even talked to a lender yet. They don't even know what they qualify for, if they need to sell the house, whatever. So today, when we're doing some prospecting and follow-up, that's who I'm calling and following up with. Hey, do you still want me to send you a lender? Can I set up a time to come over for us to see your house so we can give you an opinion on the value? work on that follow-up, right? And so also provide them value. This says show them a snapshot. So we have Kelly, right? Or you can go into command 2 and do snapshots. Have a snapshot of that neighborhood. How many houses are for sale? What's the average price point? How many days are they usually on the market? Right? Let's see, sometimes Kelly works and sometimes she doesn't. Yeah. Smart man. The text says, I'll ask my wife.
And while she's looking for that, so the ways to have people sign in.
Yeah.
We definitely need to get an iPad. I think having an iPad and being able to just have them sign in and then those leads just go directly into your command feed is a really good way to do. We still do the sign-in thing, and the reason I do the sign-in thing, the way we do it, one, I always put it, hold on, I can't talk and bend over at the same time. Okay, so usually on the kitchen table or on the bar or the island of the house is where we are kind of set up. We're not usually set up in the front of the house. One of us kind of stands back, one of us, as soon as people come in the door, they will, do you need some help?
She's probably in the large conference room.
Yeah. So you just have them back here, sorry.
I can't sign into Kelly right now, but there is on the Kelly app. It's the one that looks like.
Blue one?
It's the blue one, yes, the blue one. You can sign in there and there's a thing called snapshots at the bottom, or it should automatically give you snapshots of the places that you're in. But you also can use info stats or fast stats on the MLS to find a neighborhood or define a neighborhood sort of thing. So again, you're showing that value. So just to tie it back, providing value. So that door knocking you did, or the neighbors that came in that were like, we're just neighbors. And you're like, well, what's your favorite thing about the neighborhood? What's your favorite store or restaurant nearby? Guess what? Now you're able to regurgitate that and be like, oh yeah, well, so, you know, this is what's going on in the neighborhood, and they just put in a new restaurant, and everybody tells me they love walking the trails. Who just became the expert, even if you didn't know that market? You, right? So you're showing them that value. What does this say? Do encourage participants to go 3 levels deep with their questioning. If a client says they are interested in a school district, they ask how many children they have in the home, the ages of the children, their interests. Find out everything you can. If they're willing to give it up, find it out. I like to write things down. So I just tell people, I'm like, you know, I meet a lot of people. I really value our conversation. You mind if I just take some notes? Because I don't want to miss what you're looking for. Or say this house isn't for them, but they're really interested in the school district. Well, hey, you know, I'm a part of a brokerage with 100 other agents. Let me go see what else that we have out there and what we have coming. Can I follow up with you and help you find your dream home? And a lot of people would be like, sure. Oh, okay. You know, again, you're coming from contribution. Provide value. You can capture contacts in command by sharing your neighborhood snaps through Kelly. And again, I do like neighborhood snaps are ideal for showing expertise. We're one of the only companies where we have the technology and the data nationwide and to be able to produce that information. A lot of other people cannot. So lean into it. Everybody online doing good? You getting some good nuggets out of this?
Yes, definitely.
All right.
I like the
questions?
iPad for
Yeah.
sign in. I like that idea.
Yeah, so that information and how to do that is on it's on page 13.
Okay, got it.
So you could even do a QR code
Mhm.
and the QR, and you can have people use their phone and just scan a QR code, and it could go to even a contact information page, like a Google information, and they can put their stuff in there too. We want to get to the point where we're just feeding things back into our command. That way we have the leads, we have the dates, everything's captured versus one of us having to take the time to put it in. We're just focusing on follow-up.
Do you guys all know how to create a QR code if you need to? Okay.
You can Google that.
Yeah, go to QR code monkey. It's the best one. Super easy. QR code monkey.
Yeah, so this is talking about capturing the lead. And so I would say that, you know, capturing a lead is sort of, you need to find your own best practice. I can't say that I do what it is showing you here, which I'm not even 100% sure where that came from because I'm not familiar with that screen, but
That form was in
Message
toolkit.
to us,
Yeah.
people's writing.
Okay.
Right?
Yes, you can't read
Exactly.
people's writing.
Exactly.
4 or 9, and I'm
Right.
calling 2 numbers trying to
Exactly.
figure out which number
Yep.
it is.
yeah, I also ask people if somebody says, oh, I'm working with an agent. oh, what's your agent's name? What agent are you working with? You can find out real quick if they really have an agent or not, because they're like, or they come over, they're like, John Deere, you know, Joe Smith. You're like, oh, what company is he with? And, you know, and most people are like, oh, well. So again, just make sure that you're collecting leads in some way, shape, or form. If you want to use it through your phone, if you want to use it through a sheet. And if you can't read somebody's handwriting, just say, oh, okay, so nice to meet you, Linda. I just wanted to confirm that's l.whatever@aol.com. That's your, and you, that, I just couldn't read that 7. And you, oh, okay, just want to make sure, you know, just make sure you're capturing it, right? Because if you're not capturing it, how in the hell are you going to follow up with them?
Hey, any tips on when people just give you bogus names? You know, numbers?
It is what it is.
It is what it
It is what
is.
it is.
You don't want to work with those people anyways.
Yeah.
You know, if they can't be forthcoming and give you their real name, and, you know, there's really, if you're starting that relationship off with a lie,
It's not really gonna go
Good
anywhere.
point.
In fact, we had, towards the very end of COVID, we were still having people sign in because we needed for contract tracing and things. And this guy goes, well, I'm not giving you my information. I said, well, then you don't get to come in. He goes, are you serious?
yeah.
Absolutely. It's my open house.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay. So follow up on that. Now that people are we're a little bit out of COVID, when people refuse to sign in, what do you do?
There's different ways to handle that. Especially nowadays, it depends on where you want to sign, where you want to set up your open house. We like to bring them into the kitchen, but every house is set up different where they may have just an itty bitty entryway and you can't see who's walking in. I like to entice people with cocktails and food. So how I was going to go back, and we'll show you how we do kind of our setup later, but on usually an island or the kitchen table, I set up a tiered thing of snacks and waters. And oftentimes, like we say, we'll serve beer or wine. Well, if they're drinking a beer or wine, they're going to stick around for a little bit longer than if they were just coming in. And I say, if you wouldn't mind, the homeowners would like everyone to sign in, please. And usually they don't, when it's coming from the homeowner and not me, they're usually okay. And if they're going to do it, they're going to give me a bogus number or whatever, and that's fine. But at least I got them to sign in. And a lot of times they'll give me their first name and their last name, but they'll give me a bogus phone number or whatever. Well, guess what? I can still find them on Realist because they gave me their real name. So I can follow up with mail and send them a thank you card. You know, so I'm going to get into contact with you one other way or the other.
Yeah. I mean, you really can't. I mean, here's the other thing. So, I'm not of the mind that I still don't feel that people should really be just randomly walking around people's houses unsupervised. There's a lot of people that have nefarious intentions, heard of a lot of things being stolen at open houses, things like that. I don't think you need to be on people 24/7, but I do think that you need to be sort of following people around, chiming in, asking questions, keeping an eye on things. I had some lady come before that told me she was essentially a part of the witness protection program and couldn't sign in. And this was a few months ago, and I look back on it now, I'm like, I never should have let her in, but I followed her. I was by her side the whole time. And she took like 3 cookies and 2 waters, and her clothes were a little loose. And she's like, oh, I live right over by there. And I'm like,
Sure you do.
Sure you do. So, I mean, it depends on how you want to handle it. I do think that having people sign in, just say, you know, the homeowner would like to have people sign in. It's just for everybody's security. And so we know who was in the home. People should be okay with that. And if they're not, it's up to you on how comfortable you feel making that an issue or not. I mean, when the guy that we told we couldn't come in, this was still during COVID when we were setting up a tent outside and we had all of our sign-ins outside, took temperatures. And then depending on the size of the house, it was either I would take the group through and Nikki would wait outside and then we'd flip-flop. Or if the house was big enough, one of us could start with a group upstairs, one with the group downstairs, we'd switch. That way, different parties were never basically on the same floor. We made everybody wear masks and gloves and booties, but now it's loosened up a little bit. So you sort of have to play with the best way in order for that to happen.
But I think it's also your comfort level. This is your safety. And yeah, there may be 2 of you in the house, but if you do not feel right about someone and they don't want to sign in, just say, sir, I'm sorry, but you know, we require a sign in. If you would rather not sign in, then maybe you can schedule an appointment with your realtor to come back and see the property.
But you're in charge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not their house.
Mm-mm.
They don't have a right to, and you say, look, this is for the seller's security and safety as well as ours. And, we'd love to follow up with you if it's so permitted. If you do not want us to, just make a note. We'll make sure we don't bother. But if there's something that comes up and we need to get in touch with you for some reason, we'd like to be able to do so. Most people are reasonable. The people who aren't, guess what? You don't want to work with them anyways. If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck.
Yeah, I have a question for you. I
Yeah.
was at an open house, and 2 women came in. They were looking around. I kind of was close by. Then they started looking really closely at personal belongings and personal pictures. Took a book off the bookshelf and sat on the sofa. and
That's not
started
okay.
reading
No.
the book.
That's
Yeah,
not okay.
well, so yeah, I know it was strange. And so, what kind of wording would you use to
I would
boot them out
say-
of there?
Ma'am, I'm sorry, but please do not touch or sit in, touch anything on the
This is
property,
somebody's
or this
home.
is somebody's home. Please do not sit. In fact, I screamed at a child
Yeah,
this weekend.
Yeah.
He took off running from one side of the kitchen and jumped over the couch and dove into a chair. I was like,
No.
no.
Nobody
I go,
knows.
buddy, come here. We do not do that at other people's houses. And his parents are just totally oblivious. And I was like, I want you guys to sit right here until your parents are done. I'm in charge.
Yeah.
And you need to know that you're in charge of that open
Okay,
house.
right.
If you don't like what's happening, you tell them.
Yeah.
Say, I'm sorry, please don't touch any of the personal belongings in the house.
I would probably say, you must love the house. It must feel really comfortable to you.
would do
But
that next.
I would just let you know, this is somebody's house and we would greatly appreciate it if you could not touch their personal belongings or sit on the furniture. This is somebody's home.
Okay.
This isn't a hotel. This is somebody's home. And just because a lot of people are tacky and don't have boundaries.
No,
Right.
or they just
Right.
check their brain at the door and they're like, oh, it's like a model home. No, it's not.
No.
Somebody's home.
But to your point, this is why when we list homes, we also say all the personal pictures have to come down. All of the valuables should be packed away, right? Because I can't guarantee that somebody's not gonna come in and try to steal something, from under my nose. And 2, I'll tell you a story about, it's not that your family is not beautiful or lovely or you don't have a great story. There was a house we walked in one time and this couple had adopted a child from somewhere over in Asia. By the time we left the house in 15 minutes, we knew the child's name, birthday, where they adopted him from, where they got married, where they were moving, like what all of their names were. If I had a nefarious intention that I was looking to take a child, I already know what the child looks like, what his name is.
His adoption papers were hanging in the center hallway when you first walk in the house. We're like, what?
No, it's for your, so
I don't want
always use-
anybody to know who
Yeah.
lives here.
No, depersonalization, not only does it help you sell the house, but you sell it as for their safety. And it is for their safety, especially with children. What if you have elderly people? They know, 2 elderly people live there, and maybe I can come in and break in the house. We don't want them to know anything about the sellers except for they love the house and their money's good here.
I had one showing where I was walking out the door and there was a little plaque on the door and it had all their keys hanging on it. Car keys.
Yeah.
Or
Somebody-
full liquor,
Yeah.
shelves of liquor.
Yeah, they gotta watch out for realtors on that one.
Yeah, right. We'd be drinking liquor. But no, to your point, the keys, again, you want to counsel your clients, like
Yeah.
go walk through the house before the open house. Like I remember when we hosted an open house for a big agent before we started really having our own business, there were $100 bills laying around. So I grabbed them, I rolled them up, I took a picture of them, I immediately texted the agent and I said, can you please let the sellers know that there's $200 stuffed in this side
Right.
of their sock drawer?
And just to your point, maybe the agent didn't
no.
catch that and you're hosting an open house for another agent. I might
Sure,
even
fun.
take those keys down and put them in the drawer in the kitchen and text that agent and say, their personal keys, their house key and their car keys were hanging up. I put them in a drawer just to keep them safe. I saw her diamond wedding ring sitting out. I just wanted you to know I put that in a drawer because you're kind of on watch. And if something goes missing,
They're gonna come at you first,
they're gonna come
and I don't wanna
to
replace
you guys,
things.
why weren't you watching people more in my house? And we wanna let people kind of walk around, but we also do kind of follow. I don't like, I'm not their shadow, but I'll go upstairs with them. They go in this room and they go in this room. And if they're staying in that room a little long, I'm like, so what did you think about that bathtub? Wasn't that bathtub awesome? So I know I'm there and I'm kind of around them. I want them to have the freedom to look around, but they also don't have all the time in the world to just like go snooping through closets
Do you
and
guys
stuff like
stage
that.
homes?
I stage every home.
So
every
would you
single
do
home.
the same thing?
Yes, because
for our
actually
stage
the
home?
majority of the stage homes are hybrid stage, so I use what they have, I bring in my own stuff. Very rare do you have a home that was vacant. That's just not me.
Actually, that's my only experience.
Really?
And with a lot of houses that I take people to see and a lot of the open houses I've done, they've been either totally empty or staged fully or partially.
Yeah, and they'd already moved and.
So it's less, you have less
Yeah.
worry about tchotchkes going missing, but you
Mhm.
still don't want people jumping on the furniture, sitting on the
No,
furniture.
No, it's not okay.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those stage furnitures are not real furniture.
Right.
Like
the
I
air
use
mattress.
air mattresses for my beds.
Mhm.
And if I know kids are coming in, I'm like, do not run and jump on a bed. I mean, I tell them outright, yes, I do.
You tell them as the
Do not-
advance, this is what we expect of you as a kid coming to the, you're not allowed to touch anything, you
Do
can't
not
jump
sit
on
on the
furniture.
furniture. Because, staging furniture is not always the greatest furniture. It looks good,
Mhm.
but
It might not
They
be
move
where
it
it belongs.
yeah, they could sit in a chair and it break, and guess what?
Then you're responsible.
Yeah.
Because you sat on it and you shouldn't have. So, it is a art, not a science, but the more that you can ask those probing questions, the better, but again, you're in charge. And if somebody is making you feel uncomfortable or if somebody's acting inappropriately, sir, I'm sorry, we're just gonna have to ask you. We used to be told about the red file. Did anybody else ever hear the story about the red file?
Yes.
Like if you ever felt uncomfortable that you should have somebody call and be like, hey, can you give me that red file? For me, I mean, her and I were pretty much always together. A lot of times we have somebody shadowing us or we'll have a lender partner come. Other thing I will say about safety, don't ever let knife blocks sit out on the counter.
Oh, yeah.
Always make sure that you're taking that knife block with all those knives that somebody can just be crazy and pull out and stab someone with and put it away. So it's just under, again, safety. Maybe a little over and above, but there are some crazy freaking people out there, right? And you just want to mitigate any opportunity for theft, murder, all of those things. Okay. So capturing the lead. So again, this is one of those things where I'm going to tell you, go into command and play around. I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to be able to show you this right now on here, but I do create landing pages for all of my clients. So what you're generally doing in command is you're going into contacts, you're putting your contact in, and when you go down the page of the contact, you'll see something that says like add neighborhood or choose. So if you know their neighborhood already, go ahead and just type it in. But a lot of times you can just go in there on a map, right? And get right hyper down to where their pinpoint is on their house if you put in their address. And then it's shaded, so it'll show you which neighborhood snapshot they live in. You can click that. I like to add, again, because this is great for all over the country, if you have people that are moving to Massachusetts, for example, and they know several of the neighborhoods they want to look in, put them in there too. Send them their link. Hey, here's a really easy way that you can keep an eye on your own neighborhood and multiple other neighborhoods. Guess what? Realtor agent can't give you that either. So go on there and play it's in the bottom part of your contacts. If you put in, pull up whoever contact it is, make sure you have your address in there, and you'll see something that has a little, looks a lot like what's on this page. The little map, and tag them and create that, they get sent that. Put them on a smart plan, assign them to a neighborhood, and depending on how soon they're looking to move, put them on either a biweekly or monthly neighborhood smart plan, right? I get a lot of people to reach out to us, hey, we use something else called HomeBot, which is a paid-for service that we use, and we sign all of our people up for it, because with HomeBot, we are very easily able to see who checked it and when. And so a lot of times, you'll see this in command too, but you'd have to look at that individual person, be like, oh, are they checking their bi-weekly, whatever. But when we see somebody checking their home bot all the time, there's a reason they're checking the value of their home all the time, because they're probably thinking of selling. So you have to sort of look for that. That's another reason why capturing that information and continuing that follow-up. Somebody you might meet this weekend might not transfer into a, what do they say? It takes like 25 touch points to follow up. Keep following up, because guess what? Somebody else will. So play with that feature. So I think we already sort of talked a bit about safety. I don't know, like parking on the street. That's so like somebody couldn't block your car in so you couldn't get away. I don't know.
Or so you're not taking up parking spots in front of the open house.
They talked about the driveway issue of being stuck,
Yeah.
someone jamming in,
Right,
and
somebody
then
jams you
don't
in
have
and
a
you
way
can't
to
get out.
away.
Mm.
Yeah.
I still park in the driveway most of the time because I'm unloading massive amounts of shit out of the car. I'm lazy. But if there's not a lot of parking in the area, we will try to move our cars away to make sure that there's parking for our guests. Again, meet the neighbors. Never turn your back on a prospect. So I take that in twofold. Again, you just want to be cognizant, situationally aware, and if you're not alone, even if your back's turned to somebody else should sort of be there with you. Especially if it's like a large, scary looking person who you're like, this person's acting erratically. You want to be, hyper vigilant. Maybe consider even, I don't carry mace. I have a concealed carry license, but I don't generally carry, but I know a lot of agents who do. If you do decide to go that route, I would encourage you to get the proper training. Establish an escape route. So I came here from Washington, D.C. after all terrorist attacks and everything. So I always have an escape route. Even in most restaurants, I have an escape route. Just know what your exit points are if you needed to get out of that house quickly. Again, let somebody know where you are, when you'll be done. I always have on my calendar where I'm working my open house. So my husband knows the address. Right, but I'm always with my work wife anyway, so good luck anybody trying to take Nikki and I down. And charge your cell phone. You don't want to call, for emergency services and have no cell. Yeah, so again, no commission is ever worth your safety. Okay, so that's like one of the big things to know. All right, so this is the hard part. It's the following up and converting. It's easy to meet people and talk to them, but it's hard to walk toe the line with them and get to know them more and get their business. So in the pursue stage of the open house process, you'll engage in a system whereby you ensure you stay in contact with your leads on a consistent basis. Don't worry if a lead says that they won't be able to buy for 9 months. The lead generation model provides ample opportunity to engage with every type of lead, whether they are ready to buy or sell today or far in the future. So essentially, now that we've captured those leads, what do we do to cultivate them? So here they're basically saying you should enter them into your database. Yes. See if you can get an appointment with them. So like today, whenever we have these people I want to talk to them this weekend, my goal is today, follow up. So nice meeting you this weekend. I know that you said that you have you're interested in buying a house. I'd like to get to know a little bit more about, your situation, and so I can set you up for success. No pressure, would like to just come by and let you pick my brain and see what maybe we're a good match. See if you can get that appointment, right? Tag your prospects, immediate buyer, immediate seller. So, okay, in Command, you can tag people with different things. I have my own tags. I don't use these. I put in buyer seller, if they're in Candelas, if they're in Arvada. Are they a relo? Are they a referral? Are they a family? Are they a single person? Like I hyper tag my people, because if I want to then pull from my database and invite all the people in Northwest Arvada to an open house, I can easily pull that tag. So just think about that, how you're tagging people. It will also potentially help you with who do I need to follow up with now, later, etc.
And I also pull, and I've started doing this, is when I do a tag, I used to just put open house visitor, but now I actually put what open house it was. So then because you're always like, I meet 1 million people at open houses, but now I go, oh yeah, or say, and then you can go in those notes and say, redhead at so-and-so came in with his kids.
Yeah,
whatever.
She had really great haircut. Oh, I remember meeting you at 95th Place. You had just gotten your hair done and you looked so fabulous that day or something. And then you remember something about them, you wrote it down. they're gonna be like, oh, they remembered me. They're willing to invest in me, right?
And that's why we do, I'll show you, like, an actual written thing, because we go in and we write notes afterwards. And I say, oh, they might be interested in the ranch that we've got coming up. So I write the ranch, because we just don't remember, 3-4 hours after you get home, you picked up sign, you're exhausted, gotcha. So anyway, that's why we do this. And then also, if you guys are, if you've decided how to split the contacts at an open house, we can go in here and say, okay, that was Amanda's, that was Nikki's, that was the other girl or the lender needs to reach out to them. And we make little notes on our sheet.
So again, the great thing about Command, you have smart plans already in there that you can put them on. You can also customize your own campaign. We do things like Smilebox, or, I'll send them a text. Hey, it was so great to meet you. Would love to set something up. It just depends on the person, and I'd say your comfort level. We are not even, I'll be honest, we're not that great with having all of the 19 to 36 touch points. I just go, okay, doing this person. I mean, we just hyper focus on people. And then we have other people who are just on a smart plan where they're getting monthly things, and we maybe check in with them a couple of months. Then you have the people who are your like immediate moving people. So categorize them, tag them, prioritize who you need to prioritize, but don't forget about the people who might be 9 months to a year away, because you can still get their business. And then in the interim, if you're helping them along the process and counseling them, you don't know who else they know that they're going to say, well, I have a really great agent. She doesn't make me feel like an idiot. She's counseling me and giving me all this great information. I might have somebody else for you, right? So look at those, the 19 to connect campaign, 36 to convert. Look at all of those in there. I don't know if you can go back and look at Brittany Heckenberg did an amazing touch point session, and they have like was it like 60, 56? They have like 56 touch points with their clients every year. I was kind of like, holy crap.
We need an admin.
We need an admin for that. But start creating your own thing. And it's okay to start small. It's okay to start with a phone call and an email and a bi-monthly, something. Hey, just want, or like here it says the actives under contracts and closed. Hey, I wanted to let you know that this is what's going on in your neighborhood with actives right now. Here's what's under contract. I mean, just keeping you in the loop. Let me know when you might want to talk. A lot of people have no idea about the lending side. Start helping them get set up for success with a lender. And if you're helpful there and they're ready to buy, guess who they're going to call? Yeah.
I had the scenario from this weekend. I had a couple that I connected with at the open house. Ultimately found out that they were unrepresented. They showed up saying, yes, I am working with someone. And they were like, but they're just too busy. And I was like, oh no, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, but come on in, right? So as they started going to the open house, I built rapport, got a relationship going. It turns out they're like from my hometown, like all sorts of weird things that connected. And I set up an appointment for the next day. So then they canceled the appointment. We're like, you know what? We thought about it. Like that evening, they were like, we thought about it and we really want to give him another chance. But you're like the first one on our list if he doesn't pick up his game, basically.
Yeah.
So what would you recommend? Like, what are those touch points? What would those look like for you? So that one of my main things right now is I'm trying not to be like super pushy and salesperson-y.
And you can't, because you don't want to sign cross.
Right.
Yeah. Because if they have an agreement with somebody right now, you have to be very careful about not signing cross.
Which they had confirmed they didn't.
Right.
But I'm still curious, like, how would I?
Right.
How would you
Well,
recommend
you
it?
guys not helping them?
Yeah.
Holy cow, what are these?
Yeah, I mean, so to me, it always astounds me what low level of service people are, what ready, willing, and able to expect from a real estate agent.
Yeah.
We're, as part of our business, we're really trying to turn that on its head. At least for us, we're saying like, look, we're a full service, 5-star service concierge. We're going to treat you the absolute best. I would, if you have their address and things like that, I would put them on a smart plan. And make sure that they're getting information about what's going on in their neighborhood. If are they mainly looking to buy, or do they have to buy, sell?
They're just buying. I didn't get an address, I just got an email. They didn't
That's
want
all
to
right.
share that yet.
What about sharing information about Colored Mortgage with them?
Okay.
Hey, I know you guys are looking. This is a benefit exclusive to working with a Keller Williams agent. We have Keller Mortgage. It's 0 lender fees, 0 origination fees, $1,000 back at closing. I always tell clients, we've saved clients anywhere from $2,500 to $15,000 on the life of their mortgage. It is a benefit that is only available when you work with me. And that might be the difference in you being able to afford and get the house that you want. So here's that information on it, but as you know, unless you're working with me, you won't be able to use it. But again, Keller Covers, which is a home insurance product, we have that too. And then I want to get certified in Keller Offers too. So if somebody has a house to sell, that you could potentially bring them an e-buyer. So I would stay on their periphery. Find items of value that you can email to them. Whether it's about, there's a great article about the shift in the market, or, I read this great thing about the neighborhood you're looking in, or, hey, FYI, interest rates are on the rise. I, just wanted to make sure that you were aware of this great article. Come from contribution, because odds are that other agent is not.
Those are helpful, thank you.
Yeah.
I would be tempted too, especially if you had like a hometown connection, or you knew something personal that you connected on. I would be tempted to send like, oh my God, so-and-so's coming in concert. Did you see this? Or
friend them on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, friend them on
Say,
Facebook.
it was just so nice to meet you guys. I'm so glad we had that cool connection.
Yeah.
Down
It
connection.
had already come up on my Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like friend them.
Yeah.
I friend everybody.
I think
And
that's a real
then
strength, I think.
we both have our business pages, but then we share what we do in business onto our personal pages. So then if they ever click on it, it takes them right back to our business page.
Yeah.
But they're seeing it, and we try to do like 5 personal to 1 business, so not to bombard everybody.
But so, and then these are just some items for a way to make your open house stand out. And maybe after this slide, perhaps it'd be good for us to show you kind of what we do. Host a speaker, you could certainly have somebody there. I want people looking at the house and talking to me. When I look at host a speaker, for me, that's more of like have a lender there that can answer questions, because a lot of people know absolutely nothing about the financing side. It says a general character, a home stager. So Nikki is a certified stager. So a lot of people will talk with her about, oh, what did you do in here? And blah, 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 what types of things can we do to, upgrade our house? Again, I want people talking to me and to us. I don't know how I feel about that one.
I do like the offer a gift or gift certificate,
yes.
or a drawing that helps you get sign-ins. Say, by signing in, you're going to enter to win a gift basket or a $25 Starbucks gift card, or, even a $5 or $10 Starbucks gift card, something like that. And then you can email and say, I do need your email address, because the winner, I will email you the certificate if you win. Well, yeah, I'm going to give you my real email now.
Yeah, right. And for a $10 Starbucks card, people will do a lot or a bottle of wine, if you have a nice bottle of wine or whatever. It's easier with something you can just email along. But again, if it's somebody that you really liked and hit it off with, and you want that opportunity to drop something off at their house and see them again, you can do that. I love this one. Get the house in showing shape. You'll want the house to look its best outside and inside. Instruct your sellers to trim shrubs, unclutter rooms, shampoo rugs, add a fresh coat of paint. Check the home smell.
But on that note, so the majority of you guys are going to be hosting open houses
Right.
for other people.
Right, you're not
And
talking to the seller.
I would suggest putting together one bag that you bring to every single open house. Mine is enormous, and I've got it in here. However, some things to bring. I always bring a plug-in, because you can work in some funky space. If you can just plug this in by the front door,
And
at least they have a nice scent when they first walk in. I always have one of these.
even if the rest of the house smells like smoke or khaki or must or.
Always bring another hand sanitizer, because you don't know if the PP setup or whatever is empty. And then I always bring, you don't have to do both of these, but I have a bag of Pledge wipes and Windex wipes, because some of these houses may not be clean. We always clean our houses, but they may not be. And you don't want the first impression to be a dusty railing that they have to hold on to, or the front of the window when they first walk
It's
in, like
just
screen door
nasty.
is nasty. If I can just wipe that down, it takes me 30
Honestly,
seconds.
the houses that have had problems are like, they were filthy
Yeah.
everywhere on the
Yes.
surface, and that one.
No, I know,
No.
but hopefully the majority
You
of
know.
them are just like a spot clean,
Yeah.
something kind of thing. But I do also keep full on
Yeah, I have a
cleaning
whole-
It's like
supplies in my
Annette
car.
Benning in American Beauty.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Her little- she
And we
takes off her
do, so
dress and-
we've actually, you know,
I've
mopped
scrubbed-
drool off walls that had hair sticking to it.
It was so gross.
We go above and beyond.
$875,000 house with dog hair and drool stuck on the wall. It's disgusting.
Yeah, but so I would just say, put together your own little bag that you can take with you different places. And one of the,
It's a big bag.
It is.
yeah, so if we do tables, depending on how big the open house is, we would do a table outside. So I have a fitted sheet. I have a thing of pins. We made these and they're still great to have.
Little.
And we set these up. You just buy these on Amazon. They're itty bitty
mini
little,
hand
like
sanitizers.
sample perfume stuff, and we put hand sanitizers, so they can go in your pocket and they're all labeled us.
Yeah, and they
You
all.
can do that for any of your, and
And
just
so
always
many
label
people-
with you.
They love it. Men love it for that little pocket inside your pocket on your jeans. It fits right in there. Little kids love them. And guess what? They just walked away with something that has our name and phone number on it.
But one thing I also wanted to mention, why I do the sign-in thing, it is my one-stop shop for all our information. So in the back, you should always, before you go to a house, print the MLS sheet for agents. So that way, if they want to know the taxes, what are the inclusions, the exclusions? A lot of stuff is hard to remember, so that is behind my sign-in sheet. And then we do a lot of work in Rocky Flats. Or if you were doing something where you knew they were building a new
Or they're gonna start
development.
fracking.
Or yeah, fracking. What is
Erie?
fracking? Do
Erie,
you know what
what is
fracking
that?
is? Do you know how to explain what fracking is? A lot of it going on in Erie, Longmont, you know,
Firestone?
yep, Firestone. So I keep a laminated copy of Rocky Flats behind here, because legally I'm not allowed to say a whole lot. I can say some things. They'd say, you know, here you go, if you'd like to read the latest information on what's going on. So this is my one-stop shop of all information that I have with us. So that's why I kind of like the sign-in. Yes, the legibility factor can be a challenge sometimes, but we just go, was that a mike@ruffling@gmail.com? Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. So, and then the last one, it says go live. And so this is talking about promoting your, again, so you're layering that social media, right? So go live if you can, if you have good enough cell. I like to we have a stabilizer. They're inexpensive, it's fun. Play your own HGTV host. You know, hey, everybody, it's Amanda coming to you live from this cute little, cottage in Firestone. We're getting ready to start our open house today from 12 to 2. Here's the address. Let me take you on a little preview tour. People are much more apt to watch and listen than they are to read. And keep things short, because people's attention spans are short, if not nil. So yeah, again, lean into any way in which you can make yourself stand out. There's a lot of people who are very lazy and they do the 3 Ps, right? They put the sign in the yard, they put it in the MLS, and then they pray that it sells. And there's a lot of lazy sellers, even, more so out there. If you can make it stand out, people remember you for that. Something maybe we might like to, okay, best practices for hosting. All right, so yeah. So these are good. Welcome visitors, they don't have to be right at the door, but when they come in, make sure they feel welcome. Hi, how are you guys today? Come on in.
The worst thing is you walk into an open house and the people are older agents. They'll be sitting at the table. Hi, how are ya? Get up, greet them. Hi, I'm Nikki Castillo. I'm with Keller Williams. This is my co-host agent. Go to them and greet them. I hate when you walk in and people are like, am I supposed to come in? Is it an open house? And the agent's just sitting working on his computer at the kitchen table. Hi, let me know if you have any questions. That's not interactive at all.
Nobody's going to want to work with you.
No.
And we talked about a lot of these things too already, getting the house and showing shape. Again, that to me is more of the job of the listing agent, right? You can come through and, oh, hey, can I help can I help straighten a bed? Can I pick up some trash that's on the floor that the kid dropped before they left? Yeah. Do those types of things, right? Not expecting you to go in and clean the bathroom, though I have actually gone in and done that because it was gross. Again, don't leave valuables exposed. If it's not your listing, find them, put them somewhere, immediately let the listing agent know what you've done with them, because you don't want to get accused of taking anything. Don't have messy meals or snacks. So we'll show you sort of how we do our snacks. And then I don't understand the whole don't make assumptions, but okay, again, you never know who somebody really is. Treat everybody respectfully. They might maybe come in looking a little rough around the edges, but you never know when they might be, you know, $1 million buyer.
Howard Hughes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like I always play in Boulder, homeless or hipster, you don't know.
Yeah.
You truly don't know. They might not be wearing shoes and they might be $1 million buyer and they're just from Boulder. So that's again where you're using those probing questions. So I'm gonna unplug or do you want to bring our tray over and let's.
You need to go.
Okay, it was good to see you. Congratulations on your first closing too.
Thanks. See you guys tomorrow. Here, there's some space for you now.
Are you gonna be back on Thursday? I'm teaching Thursday.
Yes, I'll see you on
Awesome.
Thursday.
Oh, look what's so funny. Your best practices kit has all of these types of things that Nikki put in there. Toilet paper.
Oh, toilet paper's big.
Don't believe that there will always be toilet paper, especially if you're gonna be there for a few hours. And I like to have sanitizing spray. So, you know, I don't know if that house has been cleaned recently, but you wanna make sure that you're able to use the restroom. Generally speaking, I don't let people use the restroom. Now, like we've had an elderly person or a little kid.
They can't hold it.
I'm like, go ahead and use the bathroom. And then I just make sure I spray it down and stuff afterwards again. So these are trash bags, especially if you're gonna have any snacks or things like that, make sure that you have a, you know, place to dispose of them. Yeah, extra business cards. Yeah, all of these things are very relevant.
Yeah, so that open house kit I think is huge, just to add some stuff in there. But as far as snacks and what we like to provide, I'll show you. So I have this tiered thing and it houses, and I just put it in a bag and I keep it for later. But we house little water, and then we usually have an individual snacks, and it changes all the time.
Depending on what's individual.
Yeah, and then just candy. We've got chocolate and we've got Starburst. But so everything's just all compact in one size, and it depends on, you know, the houses all vary in size and where you can put stuff. This is usually a really good size. And then that way you've got something to drink, a little snack, and then we usually bring little napkins, but then we usually bring a tub with sparkling waters, beer, and like Trulies or something.
Yep.
All clear liquids.
Again, so because it said in the last slide, avoid those messy snacks,
Yeah.
right? We try not to do red wine. We try to only do white wine or Trulies or like a light summer shandy beer, and sort of what's on our tray changes with the seasons, right? So more in the fall, you know, we'll start having more fall themed, you know, items. And then the, you know, Christmas time, is it Target that you always get the really, Target sells these individual decorated sugar cookies. Little kids go bananas.
They're
But
a
we
little
tell
more
them, take one
expensive.
on the way out
Yeah.
the door.
It's 12 of them for $9, but they're individually wrapped sugar cookies. So they can just take them and go.
Or if you have like a local small business you like to support, like, so one of the people in our neighborhood owns the Nothing Bundt Cakes down in Lakewood. Nothing Bundt Cakes, the little buntinis. I think a dozen of them was like $19. And I mean, people, they come in a little thing, they can just take them with you. You know, take one on your way out, or, you know, we tried to tell people, you know, please no food upstairs. But if you're just having little snacks, odds are they pick it up, they eat it, and it's gone.
But then you can also, we use those opportunities to cross promote our friends that have businesses with food and drink. We're like, so we're featuring Onboard Denver at our open house today. Well, guess what? Now it's tagged in all of her followers as well. So they're seeing a realtor that she works with. And
And do you find a lot of places like that are willing to donate those to you? because
no,
you're doing
nobody's
advertising?
nobody's
No,
gonna.
I don't ask because I understand they're a small business like
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
And the payoff to me is someday when somebody needs to sell, that the gal from Onboard Denver is gonna say, you should use Amanda and
Yeah.
Nikki,
Mhm.
right? Or, you know, and we've met each other at several other functions since then. I mean, again, it's sort of that cross business promotion, that referral.
Yeah.
I always tell my people, you send me one, I'll send you two.
Yeah.
You send me one referral, I'll make sure you get two, right? Make it mutually beneficial. That's also why we operate another, in addition to our business pages and our AN homepage, we also have a handle called Arvada Lifestyles, which came out before the Arvada Lifestyles magazine, which was awkward. And we're using that platform. Yes, do we promote some real estate in it? Yes, not much. It's mostly a platform for what's happening in and around Arvada, promoting other Arvada businesses. Do you know how many other Arvada businesses have started tagging us and sharing stuff and all of that because we're doing it for them? Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't hurt to help other small business, right?
Yeah.
And show that that's part of your passion. All right, so we're almost there, guys. So follow up. So follow up is really your main thing that you're gonna wanna take away, right? You want to follow up and you wanna convert these leads into buyers or sellers. What is this? So this is the lead generation model. How do I want to say this nicely? I look at these things all day long. What I will tell you in the end is you can look at the prospecting and the models and all of that, but if you don't do the actual work, it doesn't go anywhere. So figure out what works best for you, given all of the resources that you have, right? It's your business. It's how you want to operate. Like I said, we don't like to door knock, but we'll leave invitations all day long. I'll follow up with you via email and text message all day long. What works best for you? What works best for your clients? I don't understand, please. I don't know who writes these notes, but they need to be fired.
Also, you're being recorded.
That's okay. I don't like the notes. They were written by somebody corporate, sorry. So like here it says, thinking back to your database and your goals for growing your business, how would you feel about adding 2 or more customers for life to your database from each open house that you host? What would that do for your business? I would grow my business. Yeah, but the real devil in that detail is, how do you make yourself have a system in place where you're following up with the people and then making a note? Like, so cool thing about Command, you can create yourself a task with a due date. So you can go in there and say, you know, met Joe Smith at this open house, send him a follow-up email, send me a note in 3 weeks that I need to call him. And then when you pull up Command on your right-hand side, you're going to see call Joe Schmo from such and such open house. Just set yourself up, ask the questions, follow up, call the people. Find how you can come from contribution. How can you connect with them? Because if they like you and you're giving them information and you're not being, I don't believe in being overly pushy because I think that turns people off, and you don't want to come off as having commission breath, right? Come from contribution, you're going to get way more flies with honey than with vinegar, right? It sounds so simple. It really actually is. It's just a lot of people don't do the work. They don't do the follow-up. They don't capture the information. They're waiting for somebody to just come along and fall in their lap. Does that happen? Yeah. But you can create more of an opportunity for that to happen if you're following up with people and converting these leads. I'm not sure if there's much else to talk about today. I think we have to do some, oh, here. So I'd love to ask you guys all this question. So given what you've learned today, what do you think your strengths will be when it comes to opening an open house? Or I would also say, what from our conversation today would you take with you into your next open house? And let's start online. So what do you think your strengths are in an open house, and what will you take from today into your next open house?
Well, first of all, I have to say, I appreciate everything that you guys have given us today. I mean, you were real. You know, you weren't just reading from, you were real, and your experiences are just invaluable for me, because that's how I can connect the most. And, you know, I really like the way you deal with different situations, how you set up your open house, how you make it, you know, special for the people coming in. I love the come from contribution. I mean, I've heard it a few times, but I think it just really hit hard with me today based on how you were using that with the open houses and how you approach it. And it just all clicked. It just, this was a great session for me. It really was. And I really appreciate it, because I mean, I think just learning from you guys and how you deal with situations, and it's the real stuff, right? And it was awesome. All of it was, from your, you know, open house bags to how you set up your table to how you deal with situations. You know, that's the kind of stuff that like a new agent like myself will just stumble upon and slowly figure out how to deal with it. But you giving it to me now, I feel like I'm prepared.
Good.
So
We want you to be
super
prepared.
helpful.
And
Super
have you-
helpful. I
have
have
you
a ton of
done-
notes.
Have you done open houses or just shadowed, or what have you done so far?
I'm working with another KW agent, and so I tag along and help her with the open houses. So we kind of, I'll read up on all the information so that when there are a lot of people in the house, I can take a group, she can take a group, or whoever comes in.
Mhm.
And we, like that situation I was telling you about earlier, I just didn't know how to handle it. It was a tough one.
Right.
And so thank you. I truly appreciate all of this. I really
good.
do.
Well,
Yeah, I think
thank
the
you.
biggest thing is mindset. I own this open house.
Mhm.
This
Yes,
is my
I like
open house.
that.
I say
Yeah.
what goes on. I'm in charge. And if I don't feel right with you, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave.
Right.
Don't feel
Treat it like
bad.
it's your own home. And if,
Yeah.
you want it respected, like
Mhm.
I'm sure your seller does.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Sharon, what about you?
Two things. I really appreciated the actual timeline of things to do. That was very helpful. And the specific, just the specific information, like if someone tells you this, here's something you can say. Just so many good tips. I mean, I had one page set aside for you guys, and I think I filled up 4. So lots of good information. I'm extremely new at this. I haven't done anything. I have another job, so that goes through the end of August. But I'm trying to do things in the meantime to be ready. So yeah, just lots of good tips. Really appreciate it.
Good. Salvador?
Are you there?
Yeah, I am. How you guys doing?
Good.
That's good. So I think the one that really caught my eye is the QR code to allow people to sign in on their own devices. I think that's a really big one, and it automatically will upload it into your database. So I think that's a really big one that really caught my eye. Because I do have a touch laptop, it's pretty small, so I can kind of flip it into a tablet and kind of let them sign in that way too. But I think the QR code is really helpful to kind of keep, a lot of people who are still scared of COVID and stuff like that, keep their germs to themselves. So that's good.
Can I add one thing that we didn't mention, but a lot of times we will do the flyers, and if you guys are creating your own flyers with your picture or yours and the co-host picture on there, make that a QR code too and print that out. So then they're able to download your flyer onto their phone and they're not going to lose it. It's on
They
their
have
phone.
your info right there.
Yeah.
We're actually getting these little items made that they're these cute little placards, and it says like, let's get social, follow us online. And it has a Facebook and an Instagram QR code. It's a real pretty Facebook logo, QR code, Instagram logo, QR code. That way they're automatically able to go, okay, and now they're following us on Instagram. Now they're following us on Facebook. Very easy to get yourself in their phone and on their radar, right? Because then they're going to follow you. Oh, okay, I'm going to follow them. And now you're showing up in their feed, right? You also can see a lot of people who like follow your page and stuff, so sometimes you maybe reverse friend people that way, right? But that's a great point.
Anything else, Salvador? Or any questions that you guys online have?
I like to say that, it's exciting to hear, all that you guys do for your open house.
I don't see her.
Oh, no, sorry, I don't have my camera on.
Okay.
But, it's exciting to hear like how you prepare for your open houses. And one thing that you ladies said was that you don't do it as in like just an open house. It's like more of an event. So that makes it even more exciting. The one thing that, like you get so caught up in like the excitement that you don't think about the safety measures. And that's something that, when you ladies mentioned it, like, I was like, wow, why didn't I think of this? Like, these things happen. And so I just appreciated that you mentioned that because people are crazy.
People are crazy, and you just want to be very careful. It's like I said, I'll say it one more time, no commission is worth your safety. It's just not. And if If something makes you feel uncomfortable, listen to your gut.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. All right, ladies in the room.
I'm gonna echo what everybody else said, and it was a very robust session with a ton of information. So I think one of the things that I'm gonna take away is just the little tip that you got, I mean, a lot, but the tip that you gave about how to ask, you know, neighbors that you see in the neighborhood whenever you're flyering or door knocking about what they like about the neighborhood. One of the things I tried last week with my door knocking was like giving a compliment, and I, you know, with something like, oh, I like that planter or something. And I noticed that did give me a little segue into having a conversation with someone that was about to like close their window or door on me. And I like that one too, because it's also one of those like non-invasive ways for you to be able to get them to start chatting with you. So I really like that one. I do love your little bag of goodies and stuff like that over there too. I just did like 10 years in property management, and we call it Sparkle Bucket.
Okay.
So whenever you had a move in, or in this, let's say a closing or whatever, you had your little Sparkle Bucket, you would go and freshen up and things like that. And I totally forgot about it until you went through that. So I love that because you're organized, you don't feel like all scattered, you have everything that you need, and you're prepared for any situation. So I love that too.
Always bring food, bring a sandwich. You will
Yourself, for you.
inevitably be starving because you usually are going to go do signage for 30, 45 minutes before, then you're sweating, and then you're starving, and you're gonna be there, and just bring a sandwich. We always go to King Supers and they sell the little sliders and the little wraps, and
We're always eating.
just have something.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I was gonna say, with the door knocking piece, what I always do, so a lot of people have Ring doorbells now, right? Or something else, and they all click on whenever you walk up to the porch. So instead of just walking by and I'll have like my little invitation, I'll be like, hi, inviting you to an open house on Saturday, hope to see you, and like put it and just walk away. Then I'm not the creepy person who walked up to their door. I'm like, you know, hi, for this weekend, hope to see you.
I do that too. Or if I see cameras, I don't know if they're like actual cameras.
Yeah, but you never know.
Yeah, my team will always ask me like, how do you know it's recording? I'm like, I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
But I see videos of like people posting like about their UPS guy or their FedEx person or whatever.
Or the nosy neighbors watching who's going up to their house. And if you're like, hi, you know, like being friendly.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
But you, a couple things. One is I felt like I needed to be doing door knocking for inviting and stuff for open houses, and you made me feel more comfortable about not having to do it and just put in the invite on the door.
Now, don't tell Margaret that, but because Margaret will be like, door knock, but it's not for everybody. It's not. And it doesn't have to be. You can still get similar results by, in my case, I look at it as by respecting people's boundaries. And for me, my house, the interior of my house is my boundary. Right? I don't want people coming to my door that shouldn't be coming to my door. If you're welcome to leave me an invitation, great. But I don't want you knocking on my door, making my dog bark, because my husband works from home and my kid might be doing homeschool. Again, and respect the no soliciting signs. I sometimes won't even leave an invitation on no soliciting signs because I get so worried about that person getting, you know, their you know what's in a wad about
I only do if my flyer says you're invited.
Right.
If it's just, it's an invitation to an event in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
That is the only time I will still leave it. Yes. But even my house, I've says no soliciting, seriously. You know, and if someone comes to my door, I'm like, look at the sign. I'm not even opening the door. I go, if you have something, go ahead and just leave it on the thing. You know, don't ring my doorbell. I'm busy. Sorry.
So I think we're kind of like talking about these things right here, how your thinking's changed, right? How you're actually in control of that open house, the tools that you have as a Keller Williams agent to do that, how you can feel differently about it, right? Empower yourself to be that expert. And so whenever you get to that open house that Saturday, you feel very comfortable. Oh yeah, the community has this many, you know, as a pool or whatever it is, you can always find out information. And again, don't hesitate to call other agents that have listings that are even pending. What's your traffic been like? You know, what was your open house traffic like this past weekend? You're gonna find agents who won't answer your questions or won't call you back. But there's also a lot of agents who will, and that's why I try to be that agent, because whenever I go seeking information, I'm hoping that the other person, that the karma I have put into the world world, right? Be a professional. I spent, 13 years in Washington, DC, wearing a suit every day, being a professional. Treat this business like a profession. It is a profession. Be a professional. Be a student of the business. I learned that phrase when I worked for McDonald's USA. It's all about being a student of the business, because every week, get on Coffee Talk. Even if you don't say anything, just listen.
It's good to know what the traffic was. Was it busier than, like, say, 2 weekends ago where it was slammed, and this weekend was
nothing.
wasn't that busy? It's just nice to know what's going on in the market. Was your open house the only one that was busy? Was it the only one that wasn't busy? If someone had a problem at an open house, so just like, and one of the things we threw out in Coffee Talk was that day somebody wouldn't sign in. And that became a big conversation, because sometimes you don't know how to deal with it, and you feel like you're on this side and I should let you in. Well, no,
You don't have to.
yes, you don't have to do it, and you're in control. And when I was newer, I was, a little meeker and shyer, and I didn't take full control of the situation. It's my situation. It's my open house. I get to say what happens. And if you're not willing to do what I ask, I don't want to work with you anyway. Because if you're going to be that kind of person, I don't need that,
No, we're in this job to help people.
Yeah.
We're not in this job to be completely shit all over, right? And you can tell the caliber of the people, and sometimes people will show you their true colors later in the process. But again, just keep your eyes wide open. So, and then, I don't know, the overall goal of Elementals is for participants to get their first contract and closing. So again, these are just things that you should be, if you incorporate these things into your life, and I'll be honest with you, I don't do them all every day. Talk to as many people as you can. I always say I'm a serial networker. Everybody you can talk to, doesn't always have to be about real estate, but you better believe I always slip in, oh, well, actually I'm a real estate agent. So and how that was relevant to our conversation. Get 10 contacts today, just talk to people. It could even be wearing your name tag upside down at the grocery store. So somebody tells you, oh, did you know that your name tag was upside down? Oh man, oh, thanks so much. Sorry, I'm a real estate agent. I was just on my way from an appointment, and I wonder how long that's been like that. Oh, you're in real estate? Yeah.
how's the market?
Yeah, how's the market? Oh, and then here's my other one I love. Somebody asks you, how's the market? Don't just tell them, ask them, why do you ask? It's one of those probing questions. They might say, oh, I just heard on the news it's been really hot. Or actually, I'm thinking about selling my house, or my daughter might be selling her house. Instead of just launching into what at first I always did, I was just like, oh, well, let me tell you everything I know. And then Matt Harper actually taught me, he goes, you can ask him, why do you ask? I said, why? And he explained it to me, and so again, those things, how did you find us today? Why do you ask about the market? How long have you been looking? Another one is, how are you finding the homes that you want to see? Because a lot of times that too will tell you, well, we just go to open houses, but do these things, have these conversations. If you meet somebody and their address, write them a note. If somebody in your life has made a difference, write them a note and preview homes. Until you are truly an expert in an area, go and see as many homes as you can. Learn the differences in the neighborhoods. Why the differences in the price points? Why, go and see new builds, go and walk through models. So somebody says, oh yeah, say they're looking at our Firestone, they're like, well, I was just over in Erie at the KB homes at Collier's Hill. Oh yeah, so I can tell you sort of where those are priced and why that's different than, Firestone. Doesn't take that long, but if you're teaching yourself, you're being a student of the business, then you are more valuable to your clients, which in the end, if you look at the listing agreements, buyer or listing, it's our fiduciary responsibility to provide the best service and insights into the market. So in order to do that, guess what? You have to do some of your own homework and research. And I promise you, it will only benefit you in the end, because we've only been doing this about 3 years and we're both double cappers already. And we're running a pretty nice sized business for 2 ladies who started real estate 3 years ago and have only truly been in business together officially for a year. It's absolutely possible, because we have sat where you were not very long ago. And this is what we did. If you listen to Margaret, you will get business, but you have to put in the work. It's not easy. It doesn't come for free. My first year, I think I made $6,000.
So did I.
Yeah.
And I only had 2 deals.
Yeah, like
the first year.
My husband was like, I think you're going to need to go back to corporate America. So I said, all right, I got to work harder. And I did, and it translates and it pays off, but you have to do the functions, you have to do the work, be the professional, be the student of the business. Anything that you can do to prepare yourself for that open house in advance and market it in advance will benefit you. And I think that's what it really comes down to. I don't know how much I've actually stayed on script, but
More than most.
Really?
we really wanted you to make sure that you understood. Now, we only have 10 minutes left. I mean, we can do some scripting. I personally don't know scripting.
I don't like scripting, and I wish you guys were more in the classroom, because what I would like to do is just say, okay, so we're gonna walk in
And you treat us
and
like
I want you to see, I wanna see how you greet me and what you say. Now, we could go first, but I'd like to see where you start. And then we would do it, and then you can kind of see maybe the difference.
Yeah, go for it. So, I mean, here's the other thing I would say to you guys. We're always happy to have shadows at our open houses. We are those big evil agents who work really hard and we want our leads from our open houses, I'm very honest. So we let people shadow us. If anybody would ever want to shadow us at our open houses, would be happy to have you. We farmed out our open house in Firestone this weekend because I'll be honest, I'm not really trying to get more listings in Firestone. But at a $400,000 price point that I believe will probably go for more like $450,000, the amount of people I believe that will be unrepresented walking in there on Saturday will be really great for Nikki and Whitney. I'm actually sort of thinking Stacy might need to give them a third person because I have a feeling they're going to be slammed. The other house around the corner did not have a basement. I called that agent, hey, I'm getting ready to list this house, wanted to see what your traffic was like. They had listed at $350,000, we're under contract at $425,000 and had 17 offers and 35 showings. So we knew more of how to be prepared for this weekend, but we're also going to be proactive in setting the agents that are working our open house up for success, right? We staged the whole house, it's all been cleaned. We're going to call them and walk them through certain things to make sure that they're set up for success. And I'm really hopeful that they each come away with a handful of leads. But the thing is, you can get all the leads all day long if you don't follow up with them and create a process for you to follow up with them and do things like this, lead generate, uncover their motivations. They'll start giving you, well, I don't know if I can because okay, well, if you need a better lender, I have great people you can talk to. And talk to them in a way that they understand. Most people do not do this day in and day out. You'd actually be surprised how many people have bought multiple homes and still do not understand the process. Or they've bought and sold homes in other states where the process is very different. So make sure, you go through and explain things to people without making them feel dumb, right? Oh, well, let me explain to you how that would work. That fosters trust, that fosters confidence, that fosters clients.
And don't ever be afraid to not know the answer.
Yes.
We can't know the answer to everything, but
I always tell people,
let them know. I will find that out for you and I'll get back to you today.
Well, I know enough in that to be dangerous, but I only play that expert on TV. So let me get back to you on that. And again, another opportunity that you use to make sure that you get their correct contact information so you can actually follow up. You will have in your book scripts. I do encourage you to read through them and maybe highlight some of the things that you feel are most in your voice, right? Because it has to kind of fit you. And as you do this more and more, it just becomes like second nature. It really does. But it is a repetitive conditioning for you to say, how'd you find us today? How long have you been looking? How are you finding, it's a repetitive thing. And sometimes, honestly, when I was a new agent, I used to drive to my open houses and I would practice in the car with myself, and I felt like, because when I would practice with somebody else in person, I was doing the ring ring or whatever, it just felt like goofy and I couldn't take it truly seriously. But if it was just me in the car or if her and I are talking, here's how I'm going to play it, and we'll kind of practice it out a little bit. Do that with yourself. I actually used to script with my 10-year-old daughter. And she'd be like, do I really have to, she was like 8.5, do I really have to say this? Yeah, I need you to, so I can practice. Find somebody that you're comfortable practicing with and practice.
What does your conversation look like for people that come to an open house and are representative? Maybe they're alone. I mean, if they have their realtor, right, you're gonna let them do most of the work. You're still inviting and stuff, but what does that look like?
You're as friendly
I'm
as
friendly.
you possibly can be, because guess what? Their agent may be an asshole.
Yeah.
You know, or it's their family member. We're dealing with somebody who's got the worst agent on the planet, but it's their
It's
nephew.
their nephew.
And
So
they
how do
lost
we
out
help
on
them?
6 deals. And now we just love these old people so bad. We just want to help them get a house. It's not our deal. But guess what? What comes around goes around. If they move into our neighborhood or they move into one of our listings, they may not refer their nephew. They're going to refer us. So just be as
helpful.
friendly and helpful as you possibly can when they come in and just say, hi, you know, how'd you hear about us today? And they go, oh, our agent. Oh, that's wonderful. They couldn't make it today. Well, I'd be happy to answer any questions for you. And then I'd be happy to follow up with your agent to see if you have any questions.
Or if they want to write an offer.
Yeah.
Or here's the other thing, maybe you start talking with that agent and they're a really great agent. Maybe you want to recruit them to Keller Williams. Maybe they're an agent where in the future, you're working with a buyer and they're the listing agent. Oh my gosh, we met at such and such. Do you remember? Yeah, and you never know. Although there are 50,000 agents in this area, you will run into the same people. Especially if you start working similar geographic areas. Whenever I text people on that reverse prospecting list,
Let's pull up our conversation
it'll pull up
that we had
past
on different
conversations.
properties.
So I'll be like, hey, Gary, so sorry your people missed out on, you know, West 95th. This one just came up. I mean, guess it's for the same people. Did they find a place? And he writes back, you know what? They actually already found a place, but this would actually be great for another client I have. Great. Awesome. Hope to see you. Let me know if I can do anything. Well, if Gary ever has a listing and I come up, well, he's going to remember Amanda and Nikki have been really good to me. I think they would be good to work with. Right. So it behooves you to be kind and helpful to everybody because it will come back to you in spades. That's my experience. Say that it does absolutely happen. Again, with an agent, we're getting ready to close a $1.155 million house, and the agent on the buyer's agent, super professional, was really, really great. I'm like, this guy really stands out to me. And I'm like, so did you be with Keller Williams? He's like,
First prospecting list.
Okay, so go into, well, you'd have to have your own listing right now in order to see it.
So if
But let me show you how I get there. All right. I don't know if we can see it.
I don't know if you can see it. But,
Okay.
And I don't know.
I don't think we have the ability to share screen on this.
Well, it's sharing a screen, but it's sharing that screen, and then I would have to log into my MLS, and I don't know my MLS login off the top of my head.
I do. Okay, I want to be able to show you guys.
Open a new tab.
I don't know how to work this kind of computer, but I want to be able to show you how to do it.
Salvador, this is why you should come into these.
Yes, this is why you should come into the office.
Linda, I love your dress.
Oh, thank you.
So can you guys see the RE Colorado screen that Nikki's working on, or no?
Yes.
Probably not.
Yes,
Okay.
okay, I wasn't sure if it was just that one screen.
That's a good question.
I don't know how to work.
It's the left side, like the left side of the mouse.
Okay, sorry. Gotta be smarter than another Dell technology, HP technology. I'm a Mac girl.
And she's a Mac girl, and my husband works for IBM, so we're not allowed to have Macs. We do all have Apple iPhones, which kind of defeats the purpose.
Dang it. Oh. What do you mean that right side and left side? I'm sorry. There we go. Yay, the left side. Okay. The left side. Yeah, I want to show you guys this because it's very important in finding out who is interested in your listing. And you'll probably find this out in another class, how to do this more, but.
For Compass now, and he's worked with Brittany Hackenberg, and I know, and we had a great conversation. I was like, well, maybe when this deal is over, we can talk to you about coming back to Keller Williams instead and coming to an office where he was in a different office. He was a part of a team that's a Turnham and Burnham team who I've had some run-ins with on unethical practices, and he's like, so you understand why I would have left that? So yes, I do. But I said, you know, not all Keller Williams are like that. And I said,
Oh, mother of God, I don't.
Really great.
Okay, so Salvador, I don't even know what my own password is because it stays on my computer all
Come
the
into
time.
the office on Thursday for my session and I'll teach you.
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
But so I'll just show you. So if you have your own, do you have your own listing right now or no?
Do that
No, currently no.
Okay.
Which will be at the end.
All right.
It's cash flow.
Um,
$5 million.
so that will be helpful, but we'll show it to you
if you come in on Thursday, or if you ever want to email either one of us, I can send you screenshots of how to find it out. But actually on RE Colorado, you can go help.
And it'll tell you where to
And
find
it will tell you and say reverse prospect in the help bar, and it will walk you through how to do that.
Perfect. Can I have your email by chance?
Yes. NIKKI
NIKKI
Castillo, CASTILLO @kw.com. And Amanda's, just in case you'd ever want it, is Amanda.Reiter, RIETER @kw.com. So you guys feel free to reach out to us for any questions of any kind. We're always happy to help.
Everybody
in any
has helped
way.
us get to where we
Yep.
are. Everybody's really been wonderful in this office about helping us get to where we are. We're really more than happy to play it forward and, make sure that we want our Market Center to have dominance.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
if
by
anybody
helping
wants
each
to
other.
shadow us and come to an open house, or just even come, like Nikki Garza, she used to come to our open houses just to check it out. One, to
You've
see the
come to our
house.
open
Yeah.
house just to check it out.
And see how we work things and how we do things. And it's good to see other open houses. And even on your own weekends, if you're not working and if you don't have your own open house, go see other
Go see other
agents'
people's.
open houses and see how they work. You want to take the good, the bad, the ugly, know what to do, know what not to do. So everything's a learning opportunity.
Mhm. All right, you guys.
Thank you guys
I
so
think
much
that's
for
it.
spending 2 hours
It was
with
nice
us.
to meet some of you for the first time. Look forward to meeting you in person and wait, there's something flashing that says more. Is it a question? It says chat. Thank you. Somebody is shooting in our neighborhood and my dog is barking. I have to get off. Thanks again. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I hope everything's all right.
Okay.
Anyways, look forward to meeting more of you in person. I'm teaching Thursday on making and receiving and negotiating offers. I signed up to do that one because that's one I'm super passionate about. And so I'm hoping that I can really help you guys on Thursday. So come into the office if you can. I'll be here and then I can show you more things. Okay.
Thank you guys again.
All right. Bye, you guys. Have a good one.
Bye, have a good day.
You too.
Will you show me on Cal how was it market share that you said that you would look on there?
And Kelly, go to
Oh,
Cal
Kelly,
or
yeah.
Command.